So in this one we talk about persistence entity streaming, new derelicts, and a whole lot more. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Break, and this is from the verse where I casually run over some Star Citizen news that I find interesting in the last week or so. So let's get into it. So as always, we'll start with the patch notes. So there's several different things to talk about here. So we've got the combat assistance service beacons. Now what they've done is they've lowered the frequency of the low threat missions and increased the frequency of the moderate, high and critical threat missions. There was an issue that caused some combat assistance service beacons to pay a huge amount of cash, which is obviously more than intended, so they're balancing that out. They've changed the max buttons on shop kiosks to +10, and the friends list is now sorted alphabetically. I'm sure that one was a difficult one to work on. Ships and vehicles, they've reduced the HP of multiple parts of the Asperia blade. So not a huge amount there, but they have obviously changed the combat assistance service beacons somewhat. There's been a ton of bug fixes as well. You can pause this if you want to go through them, but overall it's about stability and of course the elevators, which are a constant source of work for some CIG staff, poor buggers. But yeah, this should give most people a better experience with 3.17 and obviously be able to enjoy the game a lot better in a more stable state. So fingers crossed it's getting to a good place, as I think this is the build that we're going to be stuck with now until 3.18, which is coming in the near future. I personally not had many issues that wasn't due to my own, well, incompetence, and as much as I've asked, even CIG says that I'm a mess that won't be able to be fixed in the coming years, but here's to hoping, eh? With the patch notes out the way, I want to talk about the recent ISC videos. So PES, or Persistence Entity Streaming, is the big one. Now if you don't know, this is a rather huge deal and it's what we're waiting for 3.18. Basically, if you drop something and log off and back in, it will be there. If you place a weapon down on a planet and then the server crashes, when you log back in, you and the weapon will still be in the same place. It's a brand new, rather amazing technology for gaming, but we haven't heard much of it at all since May. However, last week CIG put out a video update regarding PES, and this is what they said.
How will players know if PES is working or not?
They're gonna know because every time they come back to the same server, the state will be the same. So if you leave a ship, a can, or any kind of items in the world, they'll stay there. Working really hard to get our first stage delivery to what we call game dev, which is our main branch. What that means is we've moved from a prototypical work branch into what everybody in the company is using to develop the game. And so that's the big achievement, is now the technology is in the game dev branch. So everybody is using it in day-to-day, day in, day out testing.
So what is left before it's in the players' hands and not just the devs' hands? It's currently being worked on and it's working in a smaller area for the devs. However, this needs to be on a huge scale. So let's have a look.
So now it's about testing that that's true. So we've got the technology is working. Now we're trying to scale it out to the cloud, see, how many users we're getting in it there, the weight of the entities, how many entities we end up having in the databases, can they reload fast enough, testing all of the facets of the assumptions that we had, but really getting this technology ready to be deployed for players to play on.
So they need to scale it up. This could be a major issue, but let's hope that they can get this up and running so it comes to us, the players, as soon as possible, so that we can fill Orison with more medical gowns in the city's hospital stockroom. There is some good news, however. They have been testing character repair, not reset, character repair. Now this could be a game changer for players. If there's an issue with your character, then you could perhaps repair it instead of a full reset, and therefore keep all your inventory, your items and your cash. It's a big deal, and it also may negate any future wipes for character issues going on with multiple people going forward. But again, it's all in testing, so it's a wait out and hope situation that it actually comes to fruition. Next up, we are talking derelicts. I don't know how you feel about them, but personally, I think they're really fun to explore, and I feel there should be more. Well, it looks like it's heading that way. Taking a look at the video from ISC, some of this stuff looks actually really incredible, and I'm dying to have a look at these in person. So they're looking at an MSR and a 600i as derelicts, and they'll be on Daymar, which is actually a rather cool setting for them. So let's see what they say about these new derelicts.
two crash sites. First one was with the 600i, the second one was the MSR.
After a couple of discussions, we thought that having two ships crashed at the same locations would allow us to have a bigger crash site, so there's more places to explore for the player.
So when we bring this idea to merge the both of them, we would just decide to do that on DMR because it was a sand planet and we wanted to create this location in a different biome than what we did on the Reclaimer.
When you get into that cave and you see how the 600i cockpit is hanging with a bunch of wires, it reminds me of a lot of the scene from Jurassic Park when the bus is broken up and it's hanging down the cliff.
600i, we want the player to feel how hard was the crash, how the spaceship was impacted.
What I like about the MSR is that it's actually a little further away from the rest of the outpost.
The ship crashed a little bit more like the Reclaimer. We're going to see the trail and the ship just kind of in the sand.
So the player needs to go in and explore. The whole feeling of the MSR and the whole outpost is that it's been lived in, it's being used, it's been repurposed.
Some people are there to salvage the ship, to take what parts are still good, to be able to resell it or reuse them. And we create this kind of shooting range just to add some more gameplay opportunity for the player to just fool around and just having fun. Now we have created a piece for the 600i and the MSR, and we have a lot of settlement asset. So now we'll be able to create a lot of different kind of crash site on other planet, other biome.
Now, you can't say that doesn't look rather sweet. I'm actually hoping in the future we'll have some NPCs walking around these future areas, whether they be friendly or not. For example, a friendly outpost collecting scrap and parts off the ship that you could then visit the store like you're seeing, and you can actually buy second-hand items from them at a cheaper price. I also think small derelict ships would be cool, just for the visual look, you know, little ships covered in sand and that. I think it'd be a cool idea. But let me know what you want to see in the comments below, and then we can talk about it. So there's some really cool stuff coming for Star Citizen in the near future, but what about the closer future to the present than the later future that we just talked about? I've just confused myself there, so let's talk about right now. So the ship showdown is well and truly underway, with the votes coming in thick and fast. There's some amazing ships here, and if you're thinking about getting the game, this is a great time to do so. You get to play and use the top 8 ships. It's a free fly event, and you can play the game right now and try it out with all these ships for free for the next week or so. If you do decide to give it a go, consider using my referral code, which is up there, and if you do buy the game before the 19th, I believe it is, then you get a free hover quad, and so do I, which is kind of cool. So if you use my code, and for those that have already used my code, thank you very much for helping me out. It really does mean a lot. Last thing before I go is CitizenCon. So this has happened on the 8th of October, and it will be streamed live on Twitch. This is an event where they discuss some developer updates, they do giveaways, and a lot more stuff as well. So if you're a Star Citizen fan, it may be worth checking this out. If you guys want to watch it with me, I may do a live stream of it if I'm not busy with real life stuff and kids and work and the list goes on. I can live stream it, you can jump on the channel, we can talk about stuff while we're watching it. It might be quite cool to do, but let me know in the comments if that's something that you want to come to the channel for, apart from my obvious dazzling personality. And that about wraps it up from the verse this week. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video if you got something from it, and share it about, as you know, it will help the channel out. We're on a long road now to 1,000 subs, so anything we'll be grateful. Take care guys, and I will catch you in the next one.